Alright, Altars by Chronos going to bring you the top 8 match here. So this is that same deck I have, this black-green, and at the end of it, if you stay, there is a full-blown, I laid out the entire deck and kind of walk through some things quickly here. So if you want to see exactly what Four Horsemen can play, he lays out a lot of his stuff and I lay out a lot of mine and go through like why we sideboarded and what we sideboarded in. So you can see some different things. So let's get down to it.
Greetings, old school magic blades, and welcome to the Four Horsemen.
Alright, so I wanted to show this part for a hot minute. So we do Wereby a lot because it is nice to have a lot of other people. So you can see everybody here. You can see me, you can see Daniel, who I'm playing against. You see Brian there, Lucas, a couple other guys, Chris, Jake. So a lot of the really cool guys. So we just basically randomize. So it's whatever amount of piles we randomly grab off of our deck and we make them and scatter them all around. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward here, but now we're going to start drawing and doing our whole thing. Alright, so he had the mulligan. I did not. So again, that's why I'm skipping ahead. I'm skipping all that stuff, trying to make it as fun as possible and quick. So there's a Taiga. Again, you can see my sideboard on the top, so I don't, bring any cards in from the side. Let's see what I got. Looks like I got the elf. Sylvan Library. In case you don't know, you haven't looked into it, Sylvan Library and a lot of these other things like Factory and these other guys, they're restricted. And Moat is banned. Looks like I have a lot of ramp here. Yeah, 2 for the stone. Tap the stone and the elf for another stone. So basically next turn I can drop a Triskelion if I have a land. I don't know what I have, I don't remember, but we'll find out. But if you paid attention, I have 8 4-drops. More if I have my Guardian Beasts in here. But basically I don't main deck them. Alright, so there is a card in hand count. And there is a Fountain of Youth, which is a great card in this format. Oh, I was just asking what that was because of the camera angle. 1, 2, 3, 4. What am I playing here? Well, it looks like I did not have any of my artifacts, so it looks like I'm playing an earned amount. So, alright, well there's Dejin. That's a problem child for him. Am I attacking or am I... Yeah. Yeah, there's this little counter, right? No. Looks like I played... Oh, okay. I did attack, but he used the fountain to basically gain the life, so he went back to 20. I did play my last one to play one more elf. At this point, I gotta try and get as many creatures out as fast as humanly possible and try and kill him. Alright, well there's a drop of honey. That's a problem. Now it is on his upkeep. So the Urnum is still around, so I gotta try and knock him down fast. Is he gonna gain a life? Yep, looks like he's gaining a life. He's still got 3 in hand, and there's the pass. Now Drop of Honey is on his upkeep. Later on, we learned Drop of Honey has an extra rule added, which Abyss and these other ones do not, even though it's basically the same kind of thing. Looks like I'm attacking for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like I am not. Am I playing the Suji? Really? It's kind of dangerous at this point, but do I have something else in my hand? Looks like I have a couple 4-drops in my hand. Yeah, I am. Okay, I must have something else in hand that I can play out to negate that life damage. Because when Suchi dies, there's a problem. So I have a plan in my hand, I just don't know what it is. Because if you don't realize, I leave my hand on the table. Alright, so there's Drop of Honey activates on his upkeep. So during his upkeep, he's going to eat one of the elves. It makes no difference which one. Alright, this is where it gets very technical and crazy, and I did not realize it, and neither did Daniel, how absolutely crazy this will end up getting shortly. Alright, so there's the elf to the Abyss now. Looks like there's an extra city. I'm going to swing in for 8, which he has to take. Alright, that's okay. Now when it gets to the crazy part, I will pause this, kind of walk it through, and pick up after all the crazy, because we were all, like Tim and a bunch of these guys, we were all trying to figure out how to play this out now. So at this point, I'm asking if Drop of Honey is power or toughness. So I was trying to understand the reading of Drop of Honey because I don't have it in front of me. So he said, oh, it's this. Now there's rules in Drop of Honey which I was not aware of, neither was Daniel, and neither were most of the guys in the chat. But Drop of Honey has a special rule added that Abyss does not, where I'm going to pause this right now and walk you through it. Alright, so basically right now, what you don't see in the next like 20 minutes of this was us trying to understand the rules. Again, this is friendly, but it is a top 8, and none of us want to accidentally, accidentally cheat or have anything not played out properly. So in the end, what we learned is Drop of Honey has a rule in where you cannot interact. So there's no instance, there's no interrupts, there's no abilities, there is nothing you could do. So when Drop of Honey affects, it does not make a difference if you phase your creature out. There is nothing that's going to stop that creature from dying. Even if you phase it out of existence, it will still die phased out of existence. There's a special rule magic put on that card that Abyss does not have. So in the end, you're going to, basically how we walked it through is, on my end step, I think this is what we decided in the end, but basically I take the damage from the city, I throw Suchi in the coffin, so I go to my end step, he has no interaction on my end step, so when we're not physically pausing for phases, he just untaps his stuff. In reality, it's suck under the Suchi, or there's a second option, because of the stack. Abyss still has to go. So Abyss has to claim something. There's nothing in play to claim. So in response to Abyss, I can sack the Suchi underneath the coffin. So either way, the play will have Suchi under the coffin and the Djinn get eaten alive. So I'm going to fast forward through all this here real quick and pick up after all that. So, okay. So this should be where we left off here. So you'll see that the coffin and Suchi are tapped because I cannot untap them because Drop of Honey is still out. So what we're going over right now is Drop a Honey should be gone, because on his upkeep there will be no creatures, and Drop a Honey is destroyed. He has 2 cards left in hand, and you can, sounds like we're going through that part of it right now, so I'm gonna pause this and keep up, but this is what we're talking about right now. Drop a Honey should be gone on his turn, because I'm basically doing nothing. Alright, so here's basically, I'm looking it up real quick, so I'll show you this, but no player on both sides can take actions between the time you choose which creature to destroy and the time it's destroyed. Now that does not come into effect if you do not have a choice. It's very odd ruled. So I just wanted to show that to you since I brought it up. Alright, so there you go. You see I passed, Drop a Honey is now in the graveyard. Abyss is still out. Suchi is still tucked underneath the coffin. There, let's fast forward a little. He was asking about the card. Alright, so what do we got going on here? So, after all that conversation, it seems, and there was some videos posted about, because it is a lot of crazy rules overlapping and technical, but the play basically was to either respond to Abyss, or on my end step, when I decided, hey, I'm going to go to my end step. Most people just, okay, cool. You go to end step, they just untap their stuff, because most of the time we just say, hey, alright, I'm done. There's nothing more I'm doing. But you technically still are forced to take an end step. You can't just end your turn on your combat phase. So either way, there's 2 areas to interact. So I think right now Daniel's trying to figure out what to do, because he knows the Suchi's going to come out, but it's going to have summoning sickness. And that's kind of what I'm going through now. So let's just together speed ahead of this a little bit. Looks like we're re-going over it again. So I'm going to pass. Okay. There we go. Alright, so I ended up crumbling his life gain. Now we're moving on with the game here. Again, sorry about that, but we tried to use our best ability as a group to make sure the outcome is correct. And then some of the guys are awesome. They legit make separate videos and post them so you can see the real combinations between Drop a Honey and Abyss being together. Alright, so there's another Drop a Honey. So now that we know the whole rules, oh, it looks like he's doing something else. Oh, Winds of Change. I don't have a hand, so it does not affect me at all. But if I remember this deck, Daniel plays Winds of Change, Underworld Dreams. He's basically a I'm gonna kill you with Dreams. Dreams also stops Sylvan Library and a lot of extra draw engines, because Sylvan Libraries draw, or you may draw extra cards. So if you do draw them to look at them, you have to put them back. But keyword is draw. You take a damage for every card you pick up when there's an Underworld Dreams out there. And that's some of the guys are still trying to they're trying to figure out, you know, making sure to our best ability at that moment that we did this correctly. Because basically what happened is, when it was brought up, it was after everything was already done. Alright, there's Underworld Dreams. So, I have a tendency, as you realize, sometimes I forget little things. So, I tend to keep one of my life totals on top of my deck. Alright, so there's rocket launcher. So that's a whole nother ball game. Now, if I do happen to get the recordings on these other games, I will absolutely post the other games. I'm going to try and post every game possible that I play against, whether it's X points or anything. Alright, so there's the attack. So right now I'm deciding, okay, he's at 5 life. If I let Sushi die, I get 4 mana. So that's basically 2, 3, 4. I have 4 damage on board right now with Rocket Launcher. That's not enough. I'm going to help my son. I'll be right back. Alright, I apologize for that. But if you haven't realized, I do this during all my life, so right there we're going to use I'm going to skip all the stacking insanity, and I'm just going to do it on my end step. So that makes him lose the drop of honey, but it does save him an attack with Suchi, because I basically would have attacked him for 4, and he would have been dead either way with a rocket launcher. So now he's still at 5. I don't have a hand, so all of these making me cycle my hands in and out is not going to help him. So he has to find a way to kill me now when his main source, Underworld Dreams, is shut off. Daniel's going to have to come up with something, otherwise he's dead. Looks like he's going to pass, which is not good for him. So there's my 1 damage from Underworld Dreams. I know the game is over at this point unless he has something crazy. Alright, so there, I'm just counting up mana. But I should just attack with Suchi. Oh wait, that's right. Suchi has Summoning Sickness. I cannot attack. I believe he should be tapped too. I gotta reread that card, but either way, Summoning Sickness, tapped, untapped. In this game, it's not going to make a difference. There's no creatures, but I should check that. Alright, so that's how it goes. Basically, that's the end. I'm going to fast forward with you guys here, and we're going to go towards the end. Oh, it looks like we got one more. I was sidetracked. Okay. All that craziness. Here's the next game. Alright, looks like he's taking the draw, which in 4 Horsemen is actually, I think, one of the best things to do. Alright, so there we go, another elf. Oh, I forgot to fix my life, so somebody reminded me to fix my life total. I think that was Tim. Alright, there's a swamp and pass. Let's see what we got. Now, I did put Guardian Beasts in here, so they can't be my artifacts can't be destroyed. And I'll go over that. I also put Gate Phyrexia, which I can sacrifice to destroy artifacts. That is very, very nasty. Alright, so there's my attack with 1, and my stone, and my passive 4. Let's see what we got. Daniel's an amazing guy. If you never actually talk with the dude, he is really cool. He's been around this a lot longer than I have for Four Horsemen. But he is a really cool dude. Yeah, so there's a really good move. So he's going to crumble my stone. Now I will gain life, but at least I lose the stone. He does not want any big, nasty Triskelions and 4/4 flyers and demons and all those things coming out. But again, there is a lot of 4-drops. Alright, so there's an Urnum and a pass. To Badlands, I believe. So now he does have the 3 black up, but he needs like an oubliette or something. He needs to get rid of that Urnum, otherwise he's going to die. I did take my damage from the elf. So now I'm down to 21. Oh, he does not have an answer. That's not good for him. He's going to get overwhelmed. Yep, attack for 5. Am I going to play a Suchi or something? What am I playing? Nope, another Urnum. That's very bad for him. He needs oubliettes, and he needs them, like, yesterday. By the way, I thought about making an Enchantress deck. Not in this format, of course, but using oubliettes. Because they are great creature removal. Alright, so there's an Underworld Dreams, but I only have 2 cards in hand, so it's not like you're going to cycle my cards out. I was just showing him there's the life dice that's going to be on the top, so I do not forget to take my damage. Alright, so there's the untap, upkeep, draw. That's me doing my life, grabbing my hand, playing a city. Attack for 9. Yeah, I don't know if he has a way out of this now. He's only at 4. I don't think he has a way out. Yep. I have a Crumble, another City of Brass, and there's a Guardian Beast, which isn't going to help me. But I'm going to fast forward with you guys here, and we're going to lay these decks out. So you can kind of see what he's doing. He's trying to do Abysses, because he does have a lot of green forests. I don't have as many, so my Dark Heart of the Woods in my sideboard. But if you look, in my hand, I have the 3 cards I added. I have 2 Guardian Beasts and a Gate. Now, I did take out my oubliettes because I realized that he does not have creatures. So you'll see, you know, Walk, you'll see Desert Twisters, you'll see the Underworld Dreams, you'll see the counters for artifacts, all kinds of stuff main deck. So basically, that layout he has going is basically his deck. And he wants to use Skull of Orm to bring the Drop of Honeys back. So even if I was to destroy these things, he could get them back in his hand on my end step. So that's his basic scheme. I'm going to lay pretty much my entire deck and everything out here. Alright, so this is my deck for the most part laid out. You can see I run 2 Coffins main. I do run 4 Suchis, 4 Triskelions, 1 Hell's Caretaker, 3 Oubliettes, 2 Demons, 4 Urnums, 4 Elves, 4 Stones, 3 Priests, And then a bunch of one-offs. You'll see I have Sullivan Library, a book to draw. I do run a Blight. I do run a few other one-offs like Crumble and things like that. But it's just me finishing off, and this is going to be the sideboard. So I run one gate, two of those. You can kind of see me cycling through here. So I do have some artifact removals and some life gain for me if I need it. Another book, and here's where I get into like where I could use the other cards. There's the fourth oubliette. Now Cry Shield is huge. Cry Shield and Diamond Valley are disgusting. Cry Shield also stops people from burning out your creatures, especially mine, because let's just say I have a Suchi out and you do 4 damage to my Suchi with a spell. I can just tap 2 mana in my artifact, and now my Suchi is a 4/8. Does new combat damage, but in this format, there's not many cards that are going to be direct damage as instants. So I hope you enjoyed those games, and have a wonderful day.